Hi. I just want to bring you up to date on a few things. And while I'm doing this, I want you to notice what I have in my background here. This is the dormitory room that Edgar Allan Poe stayed in for about a half a semester at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia. And you can see that they claim that this is the actual room, and I guess that's a facsimile of the bed he slept in. And there's a stuffed bird there. I guess it's a raven, and there's of course a desk that he used. Poe was not happy in an academic situation. He had failed out of West Point, and he came here and was not happy here either, and he kind of dropped out as well. But he came to be one of the great story writers of all time. And you wonder how he did it, because he had a really great vocabulary. And he was somebody who was very much learned in his way. He knew his Latin, and he knew everything else about the world of culture. His allusions to the Greeks and the Romans stand in a kind of testament to that. I thought you'd like to see this. Yeah, if you're ever down in that area, you can pay a visit to the University of Virginia. It's a beautiful campus. Actually, the central part of the campus was designed by President Thomas Jefferson. And while you're there, you can take a stroll over to this dormitory room that was used by Edgar Allan Poe. Nobody else is allowed to be in there. And in fact, I took this picture through a window. I didn't get in and walk around in it. Yes, it's kind of cool, isn't it? Yeah, and there's the raven. I just wanted to bring you up to snuff here with what we're doing here. We have another group of stories to be reading, as I mentioned in the previous talk on the short story, and that you're fully aware of. I'm going to give you a lesson, rather, I'm going to give you an assignment rather, in order to fulfill that lesson. And I want you to keep in mind what I mentioned last time. That is this question of character in terms of what we might understand to be the condition of being, which is a phrase that I use myself. Nobody else uses it. It's totally original. What does it mean at the end of the story to find our hero or heroine in a condition of being? Um, so I thought maybe I'd answer that question for you by reminding you about a number of things about character. Character does appear in a certain time, in a certain place, and has certain outward features, certain habits as well. But beyond that, we might want to understand exactly what goes on in this character's mind, and how this character operates as a different personality in reality and against the things he or she has to deal with. How do you explain someone's mood? Do you have a word for mood? Is someone moody, for that matter? Is someone always happy-go-lucky? Is someone depressed all the time? Is someone crazy? Is someone superstitious? There are many character traits that we want to take a look at in our stories that we're going to be reading for next week. Take a look at the idea of temperament in a story. And that should lead you to the end, where we find the person's temperament somehow compromised, somehow placing him or her in a situation that seems, as I said, totally compromised, where the character cannot move one way or another and is kind of jammed up in the way that, again, he or she can somehow cope. How do you define that situation? That's something I want you to find words for as you answer the next few questions that I'm going to ask you to respond to. All right, so take a look at this and think of Edgar Allan Poe while you're doing it. And while you're doing it, you might want to check out the readings that I have of some of the poetry of Edgar Allan Poe, notably The Raven, but some others as well, which I think you'll enjoy. Okay, that's all for now.